I think Timber will come back on as well very quickly in the media eye. Why can't this club buy cheaper players than De Jong? Why does it have to be marquee? Build the club from the ground up. Ten Hag doesn't need superstars, says William Turner. Mark, what's your current thoughts over the window as of now? The frustration is definitely evident now among the fans, says Dan. Dan, I am impatient, but I'm not unrealistic. I think they should have done better, but there's still a lot of transfer window to go. I think they would I have done this transfer window this way? No, but I'm not the manager, and I'm not the CEO, and I'm not the director of football. I don't like how we work in the transfer window. I think if you're a Chelsea fan or a Liverpool fan or a Man City fan, it must be great because it's calm and then it's bang and it's quick. And with United, I mean, I've always speculated, and I'm sure people will agree with me, that actually United like this. They like a transfer to be protracted because it probably generates them a lot of interest in a lot of different areas. So I've always suspected that United like it to be long and drawn out, but I don't think they purposely draw it out. I think the reason, and I've said this many times over the years, the reason United take so long on transfers is because of the Glazers. Because ultimately they're always trying to save money. So we're always trying to save money. And it could be, I mean, I don't think this is the case, but if you do your deals later on in the window, that means you keep your money in your bank for longer. If I'm going to pay you 50 million quid, if I pay it you today, that 50 million pounds gone. If I pay it in instalments, I still keep it for a bit longer. If I pay it you at the end of August, I keep that 50 million in my bank earning interest for another 2 months. That's not what United are doing. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But what I'm trying to explain is that the Glazers just want to keep their money for as long as they can. And that's why they protract things out, and that's why they negotiate everything, because they're businessmen. They're businessmen. I remember going out with a girl years ago, and we went to the supermarket to get some stuff for like a party, and we went to the supermarket, and when we were heading out, she got a text message from her dad saying, can you get a few items for the house? Like, I think it was sparkling water or something like that. Anyway, we came back with our stuff, and we were unpacking it for the party to go to the party, and we took his stuff out, and then he was like, have you got the receipt? I was like, oh, you cheeky git. And he checked the receipt, and he was like, I asked you for 4 bottles of sparkling water, didn't I? And we said, yeah, there's 4 bottles of sparkling water. They've charged you for 5. It says 5 here. All right, okay. How much are the sparkling bottles of water? 50p each. Give me the keys, I'll go and get it back. I was like, it's a 3-mile drive back to the supermarket for 50p. But he was like an accountant. And some people are obsessive. And I think the Glazers are like that. Every pound counts. I wouldn't have got in the car for that. I'd have gone 50p, whatever. But you've got to put yourself into the mindset of business people. And I think that's what Manchester United are like. We're very business driven. And we as football fans just want to get the players in. We want to get the players in and the rebuild started. But when you're run by business people, they'd rather take 6 weeks to do something where they can save 5 million than do it in 6 days and pay an extra 5 million. And that's always been United's issue. Is Anthony a Nunez replacement, or was he always going to be certified target? Also, going back to my early comment on European lad and Timber, says Fame. On the Timber thing, I know European lad. He is very confident that they're going to keep him. I don't know how much of that is bravado and hope, but I understand where he's coming from. I think the noises coming out of Ajax are that they want to keep Timber. Even Van Gaal is saying that Timber should stay. So there's definitely a persuasive argument for Timber to stay for another year. But Ajax want him to sign a new contract, and I don't see him signing a new contract. So I still think Timber will come to Manchester United, but we need a big update on that one. Is Anthony a replacement for Nunez? No, because they're different players. I think it's a movement of priority. I think we need a right winger and we need a striker. And I think this summer we were going to get a striker, and next summer we were going to get a right winger. I think we haven't got the striker. Instead of going for plan C or D, we're going for plan A on the winger, and we'll park the striker for a year. I think that's what will happen there, if it happens like that. Doesn't waiting until the tail end of the transfer window every season make deals run the risk of overpaying for the players? Yes, Stephen. But remember, we've got business people running this club and not football people, which is another disadvantage. Should we look to move one of Ahmad or Palestri on, especially since we are looking at Anthony? It would be really tough for them to break through, says Paras. Well, I did read something about Palestri today that he wants to play regular first-team football because he actually does get quite close to the Uruguayan first team. So he needs to play regularly. But then I do think Palestri, Ahmad, Garnacho, Mabry will go on the tour. And I think Ten Hag will take a look at them on the tour. Garner as well. It's not unrealistic that some of them may stay as part of the first team, especially with Europa League football. But I think some of them, he wants to look at them and then go over the years, is that very few people have got info on everything. I remember when we bought Harry Maguire from Leicester, I got some good info because I knew someone who worked at Leicester, because that's sort of where I grew up, was Nottinghamshire, but it was like literally 2 miles away from Leicestershire, so very close to that side. Sometimes you get information and you're never going to get good information again. Like, I'm never going to get that again because it was just how it worked out. But I don't have anything on De Jong. I don't. Everything I get on De Jong comes from other people. Well, to be fair, there's a couple of people I know who are really good in relation to Dutch outlets, but I don't really have anything on De Jong. Timber, it's been quite good. Anthony's been very good. So I can't really offer up anything on De Jong, but I can on Timber. And what I know about Timber is that he is a number one priority for Ten Hag at centre-back. Timber was really up for this deal, so much so that terms had been sorted out with him. Like, there was no issues with the terms. The next step, and I've got to be honest, from what I was being told, and look, it was from club side and player side, I expected a fee to be done by now. I don't know what's going on. I still think it's going to happen. I'm still 80% because nothing's made me go not that. But it has gone really quiet. Like, you can't really get any updates on it at the moment. And then I hear Louis van Gaal today saying that, you know, there's a lot of my players that are linked to moves this summer, but I keep telling them about the World Cup. You know, the World Cup is coming up very soon. Do you want to destabilise things? I don't think that's a major thing. I can understand why Van Gaal doesn't want them to do it. We seem to be penny pinching again this year for the sake of an extra 10 million. I'd like to see us pay it to get the player in a month earlier, says Joshua. But you know what, Joshua? I don't agree with this, but if United have only got £120 million to spend and you can get De Jong for 60 instead of 70, that means you've got 60 left to spend instead of 50. And that might mean the difference between getting Timber, or, you know, we might be on a really strict budget. You just don't know. Hi Mark, hope you're well. Koulibaly is going for 40 million. His age might be an issue though, says Mikhail Roach. 40 million, that's a lot for Koulibaly. Today I started with a new job in a logistic firm. Thanks to the United Stand for entertaining me, says Reddy. Thank you very much for that, Reddy. Good luck with your job. And Kieran Smart says, with Nunez, Nkunku and Richarlison off the table, who are the realistic options for United's new striker? I'm struggling to come up with names. Cheers, says Kieran. I don't think Richarlison is off the table. I'm going to ask Fabrizio about this later on, because Fabrizio was the first one to talk about Richarlison to Manchester United. I think he spoke about it back in January on this channel, and then we spoke about it a few weeks ago. So